Hi everyone, my name is Georgiana Gelano and my student ID number is 25292720. And today we're going to talk about the digital triage and appointment efficiency, an NHS transformation proposal. This project has selected the NHS since it is among the largest provider of public health in the world and is currently under pressure of finances with high rates of workforce shortage that affect the day-to-day capacity of NHS services, as ERCO says in 2026. Digital transformation has become a strategic focus. Research on the use of digital technology in health systems demonstrates that when implemented thoughtfully, digital transformation does not have to be all or nothing, since the technology can improve efficiency, decrease administrative workload, and even facilitate better health outcomes when applied in addition to the current clinical process, like PRENSS in 2024 estimated. The NHS is already rolling out modernizations and piecemeal fashion over NHS acute and primary care, providing the project with a realistic starting point and, crucially, an environment to test new digital tools in a truly live environment. The natural issue with the NHS is that the manual triage is subjective to the practitioner and hence is a human variable between practitioners, between shifts, and between departments, and the outcome is an uneven prioritization of patients with clinically similar needs. A qualitative study of 9 NHS healthcare practitioners found that a sense of trust and AI-supported triage as a key motivator to use, like Townsend says in 2023 estimated. This is also complicated by the fact that the modern models of healthcare delivery tend to place patients in a plethora of departments, providers, and referral pathways, and coordinating and sustaining triage is an entire health system is challenging, like Charuka says in 2023, estimated. These are the structural problems that affect patients and are reflected in the high waiting times and treatment backlogs suffered by patients, which are exacerbated by continuing problems of workforce shortage, which limit the capacity for manual evaluation. It has been argued that the digital triage tools might be of great use to patient flow, and the model-based simulation of the application of queuing theory has discovered that these tools will be more applicable in busy but understaffed departments, which are widespread in the NHS, like Thompson says in 2023 estimated. This is supported by a 26-month evaluation of an integrated virtual and live nurse triage service, which was associated with a 5.5 percentage point, 39.5% increase in patient uptake of appropriate self-care and 5.0 percentage point 8.4% reduction in demand to attend an urgent outpatient consultation following triage, like Geller says in estimated 2024. These findings combined present a robust evidence based on a digitized triage interventions in the NHS. The work is based on a series of promising studies, such as a pilot study of prioritizing patients through AI risk-based stratification of surgical waiting lists in England, where 733 patients were still waiting to get NHS hospital treatment in May 2021, and has a real potential to make sure that prioritizing patients can be made more fair and consistent. It is also based on the existing momentum in institutions, with the NHS England already having taken a process of piloting digital triage in a few hospitals locations as part of its wider institutional modernization agenda. National Health Service 2026. This doubled focus on the triage and appointment efficiency can be seen in the title of the project, making the project natural continuating of the pilot activity. The two areas of concern that are interdependent and are slow and inconsistent manual triage and the inefficient process of booking appointments, which negatively impact the patients as well as the administrative staff, and are the subject of the project. It is interesting to note that similar systems have already been successful in NHS environments, such as an AI-directed physiotherapy practice, which has already been successful in showing the clinical and operational viability of the use of AI-assisted care delivery in a live NHS environment, like it says in The Guardian in 2024. However, is also united by the fact that the result of other medical care systems worldwide have shown that AI-based workflow optimization actually positively influences the efficiency of the clinical process rather than shifting administrative loads to other areas, like according to LM estimated in 2023. It has been partially proved that the small-scale process improvement, when no substantial investment in technology is made, would result in only limited and possibly temporary benefits, especially in the system with presentation infrastructure shortage, according to Wired in 2019. This is significant since the plans of the NHS to be digitalized have been actively discussed and reported as being hindered by outdated and archaic IT infrastructure, which further justifies the overall vision of a more intensive technology-based approach to the issue instead of a small and ad hoc modification to existing manual process, according to The Guardian in 2024. The investment case of this project has included the practical evidence of the benefits of integrated triage and appointment to demonstrate the measurable beneficial impact of the efficiency and healthcare, according to Gellert in 2024 estimated. It is also important that the budget planning is it right and on a continuous maintenance basis, and even the initial system build, since despite NHS acute trust, the technical efficiency research is usually a requiring theme in the system build and is one of the simplest things to overlook during the initial system build scoping phase and build approval, according to IRCO 2026. The project will most likely have both clinical and technical requirements that are constantly evolving as the system is tested, used, and refined to actual scenarios. That is why an agile life cycle would be recommended, according to Perianes estimated 2024. This flexibility is especially important in complicated healthcare settings where an anticipated integration issue, workforce changes, or new clinical safety criteria during testing may upset more traditional, fixed methodologies without significant delays or budget increase, according to Churuka in 2023. Short iterative sprints give the clinical leaders a chance to examine the functioning elements of the system on an ongoing basis, as opposed to the ultimate point of delivery, at which the issue would have been likely to have been felt and neutralize the danger of redesigning in the later phase. According to the suggested 12-month implementation period, the solution implementation process will be a gradual step-by-step rollout comparable to the current NHS digital triage pilots rollout, not being rolled out nationwide, National Health Service in 2026. This step-by-step implementation is also broadly comparable to the implementation of digital triage application in the country through a similar gradual roll-on plan, specially designed to minimize the operational and clinical risk in the initial stages of the rollout. According to the time is 2026. The division of the budget into development pilot, a full rollout phase, may also mean that funding may be released in phases, which means that the subsequent phase can be funded to meet other integration or training needs that might be detected during the initial testing phase. The structure has been developed in this regard to make sure that all aspects of the product and work breakdown structure of this project are founded on realistic requirements as recorded during clinical workflow that have been experienced in other AI-supported healthcare projects, according to ELIM in 2023. This systematic order way of decomposing the deliverables and tasks is also widely consistent with general guidance on how effectively deliver digital transformation program in complex, multi-stakeholder health system in which delay is often caused by poorly ordered work packages, according to Perianes in 2024. The sequences testing before training and before going live is aimed at making sure that staff are requested to use a version of the system that has been clinically tested regarding its safety. The cost breakdown structure for this project has been designed focused on the technical efficiencies priorities that have been identified across NHS Acute Trust as a whole, with a 2024-2025 analyzing finding trust in the top quartile of digital maturity were 90% of their production frontier, while trust in the bottom quartile were 93.2%, a difference with a value of circa £20 million of additional activity per trust, or 1.1 billion in total, according to ERCO 2026. This potential returns render is probably to invest in a digital maturity as an actual investment in efficiency and cost management. In this connection is also aligned with efficiency, return, and combined triage evolution, which assist in justifying more appropriately where investments are likely to have the greatest return in the long run. And according to Geller in 2024. The most significant risk is this project is clinically safety, and that's why its AI generated recommendation cannot yet be implemented without human supervision and should always be checked by clinicians at each step, according to Townsend in 2023. The real and recorded threat that the staff is not adequate on board with the new system is also presented the NHS mental health referral bespoke AI triage system with 300,070 and 470 new referrals into secondary mental health care services a month in 2023 needs the trust and appropriate use of the tool by clinicians within the system, which is why organized gradual training has been made a purposeful component of the mitigation plan since the initial phase, according to Taylor in 2024. The stakeholders' management has been informed by an awareness of the multi-provider nature of future complex care system and the need of to offer them a truly coordinated engagement, because the latter can only be effective in the interaction between clinical and technical teams and the senior management, according to Churuka in 2023. It has also been found that frontline staff and patients need to be consulted and informed during implementation to establish trust between staff and patients and among patients. And those who has been viewed as the case stakeholders, even though they have a relatively less formal decision-making role, according to Taylor in 2024. The large and complex digital transformation project must have a distinct separation of both strategic responsibility, project sponsor, and the day-to-day delivery responsibility, project manager, according to Perianes in 2024. Such roles also markedly decrease confusion in cross-functional healthcare technology initiatives where clinical and technical personnel might have conflicted beliefs, culture, and approaches, according to Elim in 2023. This project is based on the principle of a communication plan, and there is already enough evidence that the systematic communication works to create staff awareness and new AI tools when introduced into the clinical practice. According to Taylor in 2024. It is also in phase to the patient that open communication about the current clinical supervision is essential, as it has been shown to reduce worries and enhance the trust of prioritization of care by the AI clinical settings with high stakes. According to Toli and Yegertensawaran in 2022. The critical path of this project is between requirements gathering and system integration and testing, followed by the staff training and project launch, and maintaining a schedule of any phase of the project has always been validated in trials to directly influence project efficiency and deliver schedules, according to Geller in 2024. As the lack of basic NHS IT infrastructure has been well documented, integration testing is mentioned specifically as being under threat in scheduling, and the plan strategically lets buffer time at the stage, according to The Guardian in 2024. The evidence collated as a whole suggested that digital triage is a valid, feasible pathway toward decreasing waiting time in the NHS while maintaining at the heart of all decision making the clinical. According to Thompson in 2023, any form of technology implementation must never be hasty and unsupervised, and therefore ongoing assessment and feedback by clinicians will be part of this plan as we move to the full national implementation, according to ERCO in 2026. So this was my presentation. Thank you very much.